Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we continue with our lesson under pivot tables. So the next function in pivot table, we are using filter. Okay, so sometimes you may want to focus on just a certain section of your data. So filter can be used to narrow down the data in your pivot table, so allowing you to view only the information you need. So in our example, we will filter out certain sales percent to determine how they affect the total sales. Okay, so we go to this sales data. So the first one I will delete for these examples. Okay, we will make a new pivot table. Okay, so we go to insert and then choose pivot table, then choose the range of data. Okay. Okay, then we put the existing worksheet in the pivot table filter. Okay, so now we choose for month. Okay, and then for the amount, sum of all the amount, and then for region. Okay, so if you look at this field, there are another field we call as a filter. Okay, so this filter will appear above the pivot table. So done, click for salesperson filter. Okay, so now we can filter based on this salesperson. When you put this data under filter, it will show you at this column. Okay, so now we can filter based on this particular person. Okay, then we click person. So now it will show you the month, okay, and then the region and the sum of order based on this particular person. Okay, and then we can choose either Chris Walter. Okay, then click OK. Then it will show you how much sales that has been made by this salesperson. Okay, so that is the function of filter. Okay, so next we move to another function in pivot table. We will using the slicer. Okay, so instead of using a filter, if you are using filter, we can select one by one, or we just select one data each time. So now we try to use another function we call as a slicer. Okay, so I want to delete this first. Okay, we go to insert data, then click pivot table. So we choose the same data from this sales. Okay, from the sales. Okay, then I put in the PT slicer for the existing worksheet. Okay, so now we choose the okay, we choose for month. Okay, so we choose salespersons. So if we want to move this we want to remove this field, just click at this function, just remove field. Okay, and then we put order amount, then we put region. Okay, so now we want to use a slicer. Okay, so make sure you click at this area for pivot table and then search for insert slicer. So use a slicer to filter data visually. So slicer make it faster and easier to filter table or pivot table or pivot chart or the cube function. Okay, we just click the insert slicer. Then let's say I want to put as a salesperson, insert slicer for salesperson. Then we click OK. So now instead of we are using this filter, Okay, we can make it more faster to search for this data by using a slicer. For example, I want to know about the Katie. Okay, then the Brennan. I want to change this function. Okay, so let's say, okay, so I want to remove this field, and I want to put as month. Okay. Alright, then I click for Brennan. It will show for Brennan sales for January, February, and March. Okay, for Chris, okay, it will change how much the salespersons make the sales. Okay, so we can combine with another slicer. For example, I want to put another slicer for this function. Okay, sorry, I have to check where my for okay at here. Okay, I'm searching for slicer icon. Okay, so click slicer. Now we put as a region. And click OK. Okay, so in this case, when we click at Chris, automatically it will show that Chris has made has been in the south. Okay. Okay, so then we click for Brennan. Okay, with the best. Let's say we try to put another slicer. So let's okay, I put insert. Then we go to the slicer. Okay, I will choose for month. Okay, so month. Okay. Okay, so let's say we click for January, okay, February, and March. Okay, and then we choose for Elberson, okay, and then Brennan, okay, Davis, okay, also for January, okay. So it will show you which data you want to select. Okay. Okay, so the last one we will do for pivot table chart. Okay, we'll first one. Okay, so we go to insert. Okay, pivot table. So we have to first select the data. Okay, we have to select data. Okay, select all this data. Okay, when you get the pivot table, then we choose for okay, so for salesperson, okay, order amount, and then for month. Okay, then we will using the pivot chart. Okay, insert the pivot chart into this pivot table. So you can choose any type of chart. For this example, I'm using the simple one. We are using the clustered column. Okay, clustered column. Then we click OK. Okay, so now, okay, so what is the difference between this chart with this pivot table chart with the previous chart? So in this pivot table chart, we can change or we can select for this particular person. For example, I'm I'm choosing for William Davis. Okay, so it will show the graph for this salesperson. Okay, so if I just want to show the at the January, then we just click at January. Okay, for this particular person. Okay, so for example, we try another example. If we choose 2%, okay, we want to make a comparison between William Davis and Melissa Post. Then we click OK. So we can make a comparison between these two salesperson in January. So or we can choose all the month. Okay, so by using this pivot chart, it will more easier when we want to make analyze or we want to analyze the data. Okay, so we can combine by using pivot chart with the slicer. You just add the insert, okay, then just put slicer. Okay, so let's say I put this salesperson. Okay, so now when we click at the Albertson Katie, automatically it will show the Albertson Katie. So otherwise we have to select at this drop list menu. Okay, so we can make it more faster. So for example, we want to look at Shannon. Okay, so just click at Shannon. So same goes to month. You can put the slicer for month. Okay, so insert, we go slicer. Now we choose month. Okay, now we are choosing Shannon Thompson for February, so automatically it will show the February or March or January. Okay, so that's all the function that we are using in PivotTable. So in summarize, we have discussed on how to use a pivot table by using this pivot table field. So we have three fields, so you have to select which data you want to put at this region. Either you want to drag, you want to put as a raw data, then you have to select the values, and then the column for column, and which one you want to filter the data. So another topic we have discussed is how we are using the filter. Okay, based on this filtering at this one. Okay, this one for filter, and then for shortcut we are using the slicer, and the last one we look at how can we do pivot chart. Okay, and then we combine with the slicer in our pivot chart. Okay, so that's all for our discussion in Microsoft Excel for this video. I hope you will enjoy all my lectures, and you can follow all my lectures in the previous video. Okay, see you in the next lesson. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.